So tonight we're going to be talking about heart rate variability. What heart rate variability is the differential between the height of your heart rate when you breathe in and the low of your heart rate when you breathe out. What this actually indicates is how adaptive your nerve system is and how it can actually help you adapt to all stresses. So what happens is, let's say this is your brain, and then down your body there's that big thing called the diaphragm. And the diaphragm is the muscle that helps you breathe. And it should do most of the breathing, if not all of it. The problem with our country is we breathe from our shoulders, and that causes stimulation of what's called the cervical chain ganglia, which causes you to go into a stress response. The diaphragm is supposed to go up and down. When you breathe in, the diaphragm goes down, causing a vacuum to suck all the air in, and that's why if you breathe correctly, your tummy should go out real big. So we breathe in, and the diaphragm goes down. This is in. If we breathe out, the diaphragm should go up. Now, the reason why this is important is because when you breathe in, you actually take pressure off of the heart. And when you breathe out, you actually put pressure onto the heart. So, because right in this cavity is where the heart, the liver, the lungs, and everything is. So, what this is actually telling us is how adaptable your body is. So, if you breathe in, your heart's supposed to go dun, 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 and when you breathe out, it's supposed to go dun, 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 dun. Now, what that actually does is shows me how adaptable you are to relax and heal. The other thing heart rate variability does is it shows us when the heart rate goes up, it goes very quickly, but when it slows down, it actually gives time for the heart muscle to relax and heal itself. It's those milliseconds between the beats when the muscle will actually heal itself. If we don't have those and we run at a constant rate, that's when we're going to have a heart attack. If you do not adapt your heart, and your heart can't go up and down and up and down and up and down, and it just plateaus and goes the same time, that is an indication that you're going to have a heart attack because you cannot adapt to stress. Now let's think about this. What do we do in our culture? We give people things like pacemakers or drugs that will stop them from adapting. And this is why we see people that are on things like pacemakers or beta blockers or things like that, and we'll see them, if it's not set right, we'll see them passing out. We'll see them having too high blood pressure and freaking out or too low. And that's because we do not know what's best for our own body, and that's truthful. We intellectually don't know what's best for us. Because if we did, we wouldn't be smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, doing all these things that are actually bad for us. Our intelligence, our innate intelligence, actually knows what's best for us. So it's the one that's going to actually heal the heart and allow the heart to heal itself. Most people, and this is the crazy thing, most people are unaware that every 9 months we actually remake all the body, and that includes the heart. So the heart is being remade. If we don't have that fluctuation, it lets us know that our body is not working right. And what I'll do is I'll have you pan over here for a second. And what we're going to look at here is the heart rate variability. And this is how I use it, is I use a test, and it has heart rate variability here. And that heart rate variability test is made by the Neuro-feedback device, which is actually from Thought Technology, which is the world-renowned biofeedback medical device. So this is the best device that you can buy. This is the gold standard of all neurological feedback. The reason why I bring that in is because when you look here at heart rate variability, what we're going to see is there's 3 different bars here. The bottom bar is the very low heart rate, the middle is the low heart rate, and the top is the high heart rate. These are indicative of different problems that you can have. If you have somebody who has a lot of very high here, it means they cannot regulate their nerve system. They're stuck in a stress state and they cannot calm down. If you have somebody that looks like this, very high, or the high is very low, the low is really high up here, and then down so it looks like a picket fence, this is somebody who's very adaptable. And I just read a journal article, and it stated, if you have a high heart rate variability, the knowledge of when you're going to die with cancer is unknown. In the study, it basically stated that if you have a stage 4 cancer and you have a high heart rate variability, there's no knowledge of how long you'll live. But if you have, say, a stage 1 or 2 and you have a low heart rate variability, they know within 6 months you'll die. Heart rate variability is basically an indication of how pliable your brain is to calm you down. An easy way for me to explain it, this is the brakes on stress. The next one we're looking at here is that low one. This is what we want to see. Now the bottom end, right here, the very low, this actually indicates to me if there's any muscle problems, if there's any communication problems within the nerves themselves. So if we see this very high into the 80s range here, it's specifically on my device, it indicates that you either are going to have a heart attack, have had a heart attack, or you have some heart damage. So this test is so reliable that I've had people come in and they've had stints, and I ask them, have you had a heart problem? Because I can tell your heart isn't working correctly. And they go, yeah, I've had multiple stints, or yeah, I've had a heart attack. So this test will literally tell me how adaptable you are and if your heart has damage. Now here's the cool part. When you come in, and if it doesn't look perfect, guess what we can do? We can train it, because everything is trainable. So we can actually train heart rate variability, which means we train neuroplasticity. We train your brain to actually control how fast and slow your heart goes and speeds up and speeds down and slows down. And you go, okay, well, what does that have to do with everything? It has to do with everything. And what that means is this high heart rate variability, like what we see right here, is an indication of how healthy you'll be. It literally indicates if you're going to get sick sooner or later. It indicates how pliable your nerve system is. So a lot of people go, well, I don't understand why I'd live long, or one person lives long and another person dies, because that person ate really good and that person didn't, and they lived a long period of time. And what I'm going to tell you is this test tells you that, though. This test will tell you if you have stress that is going to lead to you getting sick, and if you don't, lead to you being healthy. So if you have a high heart rate variability, we know you're a neuroadaptive, which means you can adapt to stress very easily, and you will live longer than somebody who isn't. Now, can we give you exact days? No, because there's always people that do stupid things like walk in front of cars and different things like that. We don't know exactly, but if we're going based on health, your health quotient is going to be extremely high when you have a high heart rate variability. What that means is your body can put you into a relaxed state or a parasympathetic state quicker, which means that you can heal. If you're stuck and this high is very high here, it means you're stuck in a stress state and you will grow sickness and disease, no questions. Stress is what causes disease. Stress is what causes sickness. Everybody knows this, but nobody's come up with a way to change, or not, I won't say nobody. The majority of society has not come up with a way. They think, well, if I eat right, is eating going to change the way your heart beats? No. Is eating going to change the way your nerves communicate? No. Is eating right going to bring in good nutrients? Yes. And will it take some of the chemical stress away? Yes. But if your cause of sickness is not chemical stress, it will not change anything. That's why people can change their diets, and some of them get really healthy, and some of them stay sick. Because if it's an emotional stress or a chemical stress, emotional or physical, then it doesn't matter what you do with your diet, it will not make you live longer. But if it is a chemical stress, then yes, you change your diet and you'll live longer. But say it's an emotional driven stress, then unless we change how you can adapt to it, that's going to keep making you sick. An easy way to look at this is the college student. They get really stressed when they study, a lot of emotional stress, and then guess what? Right after finals, they get sick. And this is common for a lot of college students. Because on top of the emotional stress, they go out and do a chemical stress. They go do their binge drinking or whatever they're doing, and that will lead to more of that stress and lead to more of the body breaking down. So the quick turnaround here is if you have a high heart rate variability, your life quotient or your ability to live healthy is extended greatly. This is a direct reflection of how healthy your nerve system is and how well you can turn on relaxation. This is why we train a lot of people on it. Thank you.